All right, guys, so a demo of the progress on the NexNODE. What I've done, basically, well, a little recap for the people that are new to the page. This is my input board, which allows you to plug in 8 different inputs, generic inputs, either resistance or voltage based, and you can define the values and how accurate they are based on the manufacturer. For example, if you go with a hey, what's this? That's a mess. If you go with a low dollar motorsport sensor and it has up to 16 points of accuracy, like the one I have, you can type all of these values in and it'll be just as accurate as the sheet on the, the stuff on this paper. So that's what I've done. I've got my low dollar motorsports pressure temperature combo sensor, my cheap China EGT sensor. I've got a low dollar motorsports travel sensor also. So right now it is 82 degrees in here. This thing's going to shut off. The low dollar motorsports sensor temperature says 82. My EGT says 81, and this is my boost gauge. So let me create some boost with my mouth here. So that works well. So the whole exercise here is basically sending all the data now through CAN to the NexLink, displaying it on the LCD. So if we were to go to the configuration screen, the way you would configure it, you'd go into NexNODE settings, turn on and turn off or whatever channels you want to enable or disable, and then you'd configure it. Like, let's just say the PSI. What I did was in channel 1, I basically mapped everything that the low dollar motorsports paperwork here, what it said, and I basically put it in here, and I declared it as a pressure type sensor. It's voltage based, and the refresh rate. This basically means how many times a second is this going to be updated. So basically, if it's something that's not as important, like as a temperature sensor, like let's just say you're running a carbureted vehicle and your coolant sensor, you don't need to have an update every 5 seconds. I mean, so you would basically drop this down and set it as 1 and hit save. So I did that for the pressure sensor. For the temperature sensor, again, I typed in every single value. And if you notice, you're like, well, some of those numbers look like they're cut off. The values are still stored there. And the reason I did this is for accuracy, because there are some values that are more than, either 2 digits precision or they're greater than 2 digits. For example, 176, you may have an EGT sensor and it goes up to 1800. So this will basically show 1800 here, but whenever you go into the display, some of it might be cut off, but don't worry, it's still there. So that's basically what I did. And the last thing left to do is this thing right here. This is low dollar motorsports travel sensor, and you can basically set it up as a way to find out what gear you're in. But one thing I just now found out is, because I'm the programmer and I'm writing the code, I can basically look behind the scenes and find out how much voltage this is, how much voltage this is, and so on. And that's kind of, you're kind of at a disadvantage if you're not me, because you're gonna have to sit there with the voltage sensor and find out, okay, right here, this is park right here, and this means it's 0.27 or whatever volts or whatever it is, right? So what I'm going to do real quick is create a debug screen on this to where you can look at any channel 1 through 8 and basically find out what the raw value is. That way if you put this in park, for example, and then you can look at my screen and say, oh, that's 1.27 volts. Well, then you can type in 1.27 and that equals to park. So that's coming up. I'll have this knocked out fairly quick, and I'll give you a demo of that. Overall, I'm about 98% complete, and then this CANHUB goes to Marco, and I've got a Joseph. You're getting this also, of course, with the wiring. That way you guys can test this, and then once it's all tested, it'll be up for general availability to where you can run this on a carbureted vehicle and run my Pro Edition digital dash, or if you're fuel injected and you want additional inputs, or if you want an additional fuel level sensor because you have dual tanks or whatever, you can do all of that with it.